Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
These are not my words, but I do believe in each and every one of them. I don't carry a gun to scare people. I carry a gun because sometimes this world can be a scary place. I don't carry a gun because I'm paranoid. I carry a gun because there are real threats in the world. And I don't carry a gun because I'm evil. I carry a gun because I have lived long enough to see the evil in the world. Amen. Good morning. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Good morning on a Thursday. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Good morning, and along with some of our great advertisers, like Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And right now we say good morning to the lovely and always just chock full of fun and information.
Don't push it, bud.
What's your name, lady?
Good morning. My name is Sunshine.
Yes, it is, but you have a cloud in front of your face.
Okay, so it's been rather stressful here, and of course we are moving into basketball season, which makes my life H-E double toothpicks, and so, yeah. And I'm hungry.
Would somebody feed this woman? And believe me, you don't want to go in the studio, drive by like you're going by the zoo and just throw it.
Just throw it. I might bite your arm off or something. Just throw it out.
Oh, my. Do we have a pleasure?
Me, you, or Michael?
Well, I'm scared to ask you any favors.
Yes, no, I'll do it.
Okay, now,
I enjoyed too.
I want you to know that I will consider the next 3 hours a danger zone.
Maybe I should put some Kenny Loggins in as a bumper music.
Either that or put on some of that. What is that music from over in the Middle East where they go, doo, doo, doo?
I'll have to find some.
Yeah, some of that. Okay. And then cross your legs and just sit there with your arms folded and go, doom.
It is true. Okay, you ready?
I hope so. Here we go.
Here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, my dear. And it's time for the weather right now, and the weather brought to you by our great friends at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Hey, you know what's going to happen tomorrow night? They're going to have the second of a very popular series of girls' nights out. That's right there at Cheney Flooring, and you don't want to miss this. If you haven't registered, they're going to have all kinds of fun things about crafts and making home decorations. Oh, it's fantastic. You got to get registered. Call them 678-6945 so they know how many are going to be there, okay? Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. And right now, here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Good morning. If it gets kind of noisy in here, the Thunderbirds are doing their practice show over the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and I'm taking pictures of them all at the same time on a nice sunny day. Where am I going with this? Well, NASCAR's in Vegas on Sunday. There will be, at the end of the day, 1 winner, 42 losers. Other than that, the weather down here is going to be the same as the weather up there. Nice and sunny, no clouds, a little bit warmer here than Twin Falls, but that's okay. Other than that, 51 for the high today. You're going to go through this warming trend now, and it's going to take you all the way into next week. And it's going to be nice. It's going to be really nice. If you're coming down to the race, the place is packed already, and it's not even Sunday. But I'll be there. If you see me, say hi. I'll take a picture, no charge, and we'll have a lot of fun. 51 for the high today, 31 for the overnight low. You should see 61 by the time you get to Sunday. I'm now leaving you to go watch some S-16s practice and put a lot of smoke in the air. Enjoy the day, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Michael, before you hang up, listen to me. Get a good picture of anybody's stock car. I don't care who it is, whether it's Earnhardt's or whether it's anybody. Get Joey Logano's. Get a picture of it standing next to it. Send it up to me.
You're kidding me.
No.
You're kidding me.
I want it.
I can't believe you want Joey Logano just because the kid won the Daytona 500.
That's why.
Want him to get a picture.
Absolutely.
It does not. How about Tony Stewart? How about Kevin Harvick?
Nah.
How about Reed Sorensen?
No.
How about anybody but Joey Logano?
Get Joey Logano's stock car, and I'll tell you what, I'll buy you lunch when you get up here.
It's going to cost you for that picture, but that's okay. That's what I was going to charge you. All right. Have a great day.
Say, buddy, thank you. Hey, don't forget, Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley, 678-6945. Look for the blue door. And they've got the best of home decor items at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Merv May, come on in here and let's sell some cattle.
All right. You get the steer calves here to get $31, 1 31, 1 32.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time this morning at 10 a.m. Don't forget, for information about the sale, you call them at 678-9411. 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy. And here's just a partial run of what's going through the ring today. Kenny and Kelly War up at Grouse Creek. Hello, Grouse Creek, 35 head of calves. Paul Barnes over to Malta, bringing in a trailer load of cattle. Crestview Calf Ranch over to Hazelton. How are our friends over in Hazelton? 20 head of Holsteins coming in, along with Crestviews over to Filer, bringing in 18 head of calves. Butcher cows coming in from TLK Dairy, 90 head of butcher cows, along with the Oak Valley Dairy, 70 head of cows, and then more butcher cows coming in from, Moo Mountain, East Ridge, and South Ridge Dairies. Oh, my goodness, sale time, 10 o'clock. Don't forget, they'll have more cattle on the trailer line run. You be there at 10 a.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv, sell those steers.
All right. You get the steer calves here to get $31, 1 31, 1 32, 2 1/2, 3 1/2, 134, 4 1/2, 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 135, 50, 135 1/2, sell them $35. Zeb Bell, get bottom again.
I don't mind that kind of a bottom price. Hey, listen, please. Gina, we've got two very special birthdays today. And I'm going to start with the one that's going on tomorrow first, on Friday. And it's a happy birthday. You know who Kiltman is. He calls in all the time.
Oh, yes, I know who Kiltman is.
Well, it's his lovely wife's, Lori. Lori is going to have her birthday tomorrow. Okay? Oh, yeah, here we go, a little birthday music.
You got it.
And then listen to this. A guy that is so generous, Zach Papp, is going to have his 30th birthday today, Gina. And
That's a young one.
Yeah, he has told all of his friends that he's going to give them an all-expense-paid excursion to Acapulco. That's how nice a guy he is.
Oh, can I be his friend?
I think he's got plenty already. Zach Papp, the old cinnamon roll kid, is going to have a... Well, I'm just kidding. He's not going to buy it. He probably wouldn't even buy anybody a bus ticket to Paul, but anyway, happy birthday to Zach Papp and Lori May. God bless them. Turn it up, Gina. Let's hear a little birthday music. Okay, drummer.
I know. I'm thinking.
Is he having a seizure or what?
Something. Oh, your birthday.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. They're revving it up. Oh, thank you very much, Gina. I appreciate it. Thank you. Happy birthday to everybody. Ramsey Heating and Electric. Let's not forget 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Go to the light. Go to the light. They've got all the light bulbs of many, many kinds. Regular bulbs, high and low wattage. They've got all the CFLs. They got the fluorescent lights. Woo, they got all the ballast and repair parts, everything. All you have to do is just, if you want to call in and have your order waiting for you, you're in a hurry, zip in, zip out, 678-0459. They're open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they always provide warm winters and cool summers. Hey, by the way, are you aware that Chick Days are about ready to start, and that's over at Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Oh, yeah, you're a chick, they're a chick everywhere, a chick. And, you know, they must have thousands of those chicks that they're going to have over there, and I hope everybody keeps them contained, because, man, what a mess that would be to have chicks running all over the place. Well, not only have they got the chicks, but they got all the feed, they've got all the feeders, the waterers, the housing, the fencing, everything. I mean, they have everything. And for all your livestock, or your horses, whatever, all the nutritional demands right there at Valleywide Home and Ranch. You stop in and talk to those good folks today, Sean and Mandy, the whole crew at Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Really good folks. Got a couple of news notes here that I want to touch on real quick, and I'm a little bit more than distraught this morning about the not real bright people in government, the NRBs, not real bright. Did you happen to see the EPA Administrator McCarthy yesterday, this newly appointed woman to take over the EPA? She is definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And it's very indicative of how, and I'm going to be blunt about this, stupid leaders of our nation are. You know, we saw the guy that heads up the IRS and he couldn't answer the questions. We've seen other people of other administrative offices, whether it's the VA or whatever. Well, I don't know. Gee, Senator, I'll have to get back with you on that information. This is exactly what happened yesterday. When the EPA administrator was asked some very, very easy questions that anybody that's in the EPA should know, she couldn't answer them. This hearing yesterday was for the EPA asking our Congress for an additional $1.5 billion. Let me say that again, because it doesn't easily roll off my tongue. $1.5 billion with a B dollars. And why did they want an additional $1.5 billion? For climate change. You see, the bad guys around the globe are trying to kill us. The bad guys around the globe are trying to kill our friends. The bad guys around the globe want to come here and try to take over this country. But the bad guys we can't have any money for because we're depleting our sources for our military, but we can give the idiocy and incompetency of money to the EPA another $500 million. Ask me if this tees me off. Oh, baby, you don't know the half of it. And there were some easy questions that anybody in that capacity should have studied up on and knew. Like, well, gee, if we're going through climate change and it's so severe, why are there less hurricanes today touching down on the United States territory than before? I don't know. I'll have to get back with you on that. Didn't know. And other questions they didn't know. Another question came up to this lady. Why, if we're going through climate change, and you say that the world is burning up and everything, why are temperatures over the last 18 years going down? It's getting colder. Well, I don't know. I'll have to get back with you on that. These are obvious questions that really and honestly and truly are sticking and poking a hole in the theory of the government and climate change and burning up. And You know what? It's starting to look like a big money scam, isn't it? Well, it is. And it's a control scam. They've even got the editor of the Times News on their side thinking that climate change is going to burn us up. And that's why I think one of the reasons why people have revolted against the newspaper and told this guy to get out of Dodge City, and he's going back into the Midwest. NRB. Not real bright. You know, the Democratic twits have an agenda. And the agenda is for control and more government money. That's all it is. But you know, she just absolutely made a fool out of herself yesterday when she couldn't answer any questions that really someone should have been prepared. If you're going to give them money to the tune of $500 million, which I wouldn't give them a plug nickel, she didn't have any answers. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I've got a real serious story I want to get into. But then, before I do that, I've got one that is so dopey and so frivolously stupid. I got to tell you that one in just a minute. The world really is messed up. Hey, don't forget Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley, and the brand new location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Oh my goodness, breakfast, lunch, dinner, great service. Oh, I mean, it's a happening at Denny's Restaurant. Oh my goodness. You can get gift cards to give your lovies and your relatives and your kids. Oh, they'll think you're great. I'm telling you, this is just really a great place to go eat. And Denny's Restaurant at 611 Overland and Burley is the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and we're going to have our lunch bunch over there for this month of March on the 19th. So don't miss it. Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley. It is delicious. Also, real quick, I want to remind you about Berry Equipment and Rental. I almost dropped my water all over the desk here. Good heavens, that would have been a wreck. Look out, computer, Zeb's coming. Play Moses, get out of the way. Berry Equipment and Rental on South Lincoln and Jerome and Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and also 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with old Nick and the crew. Let me just tell you that as we draw closer to better weather, and this weekend is going to be indicative of that, everybody's getting ready for a lot of spring cleanup, fix-up, etc., whether it's with the Coyote tractors or the Walker mowers or the Bobcats or the Doosan loaders. Great pricing, fantastic warranties. I mean, you better get in there and check it all out at Berry Equipment and Rental. As I said, 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Berry Equipment and Rental. Really good folks. All right, give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to share this with Gina because, you know, she's not in a very good mood this morning, and this will make her outlook on life a lot better, I'm sure. Are you there?
Brighter outlook?
Yeah, brighter outlook. Did you hear about the man that in West Hampton, New Jersey, he leaned over a plate of sizzling fajitas to say a prayer and burned his face and his neck, and he's suing the restaurant for damages?
Okay, first and foremost, he's...
I know you're... I knew that laugh was going to come up.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so, number one, the guy's an idiot. Number two, thankfully he was saying a prayer. But to sue, come on, really, you know that the food is hot. And always when you go out to eat, especially at a Mexican restaurant, when they serve you those fajitas, they tell you.
They're hot.
The plate is hot.
Yeah.
You can hear it sizzling on that cast iron plate.
Well, according to this guy, and his name is Hiram, now, there you go. That's part of the problem, because anybody named Hiram, you got to watch out for Hiram. Anyway, according to Hiram Jimenez, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
You should have known already.
He ordered the fajitas that were placed in front of him on a sizzling skillet. I've had them at Applebee's. I know what they're talking about. And the waitress says, "Be careful, sir, this is a hot plate."
Yes, I mean, they automatically tell you. And you can see the steam. You can hear
Yeah, you can hear it go. church like this and everything. Well, he said he bowed his head to pray.
How far did he bow his head?
Yeah, well, I don't really. When I pray at the table, I don't stick my face in a fajita, for heaven's sakes.
That's what I'm saying.
This is unbelievable. And listen to what he said. He said he heard a loud sizzling noise followed by a pop noise. And then he said he felt a burning sensation in his left eye and on his face, and he knew he was burned. This is a real sharp guy.
Okay, so let's go back to my original question. How did he lay his face in?
I don't know. I think the guy was blitzed drunk or something, and they ordered fajitas. And where's Hiram? Well, he's laying over there in his fajita. Somebody get him out of it.
He was drinking too many of their grand margaritas.
I'm telling you, this is the dumbest story to take to the courts. And he said that he suffered permanent and serious injuries. Well, how did you burn your nose, Hiram? Well, I fell in a fajita. I mean,
okay. Honestly, I'm hoping that the judge honestly laughs just like us.
They did. They threw it out of court.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Because, thankfully the man, good for him that he was bowing his head to pray, but you don't have to bow your head that far.
But honestly, Gina, this shows the frivolity of what's going on in our court system.
Well, I know. Everybody is too happy. Oh, well, I hurt myself. I'm going to sue. I stubbed my toe.
Yep.
I'm going to sue the maker of the table. I mean, come on, really?
How proud are you going to be if you won a court case like this? Well, where'd you make all your money, Hiram? Well, I fell in a fajita and burned my nose. Good heavens.
We've got Al.
Oh.
Sir Al has a comment that he wants to
Okay,
make.
hang on. I tell you what, tell Al, I'm so far behind, I just got to say one good word here this morning before I get to him. I'll be right there, Alan, I promise. And maybe, I don't know if he knows anything about burning his nose in a fajita or not, but anyway, don't forget Scow's Auto and Truck Parts. Yes, Rupert, Hayburn, and Burley. I'm telling you, since 1949, every detail matters. They really know. They've got everything for you over there at Scow's. All the automotive replacement products, accessories, and supplies for virtually all vehicles. And believe me, every detail does matter. Located on East 8th and State Highway 25 in Rupert, 518 Overland in Burley, and the Big Truck Center at Exit 211 I-84. Scow's CarQuest Auto and Truck Parts, serving you. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning. Let's calm down and have a cinnamon roll.
Al, honestly, a guy falls into a fajita and he's going to sue? Can you believe this?
I mean, what if they sued me for slamming on that alarm door over at Denny?
Oh, my gosh. Don't even mention it. I hear the fire department shows up with 13 different vehicles. What happened? Well, Al stuck his butt through the door.
Well, that's all right. Better than my head. Now, I'll tell you this, EPA and that, they just quit funding them. Money away and sell them to hell.
Did you happen to catch that yesterday on the news?
Not really. I just getting so I ignore a lot of that. Because I've had run-ins with them out here, animal PETA and all that crap, and I knew how to handle them. I give them this option, the kill stick or the skinning knife.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They left in a hurry because I won't put up with it.
Well, I just want to extend to you and your friends and, of course, everybody in your neighborhood, please do not fall in the fajitas. Have a good day.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, thank you.
Cinnamon rolls are sure good.
Okay, goodbye. All right. I tell you, frivolous, stupid lawsuits. And old Hiram Jimenez with a burned nose, and he said he even burned his cheek a little bit when it splattered up on him. How long did he lay in that puppy, I wonder? Anyway, too bad he's not going to win a lawsuit. It's time now for the Capital Press Ag Minute, brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology, right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. And the number to call to schedule a hearing screening, 312-0957. I'm going to try to get over there next week and have my hearing checked too, so I can tell you all about it. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Christine Pickup. You give her a call today. Right now, it's time for the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly. A Canadian company that recently won permission from the USDA to propagate and sell the first genetically modified apple in the United States is being acquired by a U.S. company. Intrexon Corporation of Germantown, Maryland, a synthetic biology leader, is buying Okanagan Specialty Fruits of Summerlin for $10 million in cash, plus $31 million in Intrexon common stock, according to a news release from both companies. Completion of the deal is expected in the first half of this year. Okanagan Specialty Fruits received USDA approval of its Arctic brand Golden Delicious and Granny Smith apples last month. The apples have been engineered to silence a gene causing browning when sliced. Neil Carter, president of OSF, will remain with the company.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and CapitalPress.com.
You can discuss any concerns you may have about your hearing, and this lady can help, and that's, of course, Christine Pickup, and she's the doctor of audiology at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and don't forget, give them a call for a hearing screening at 312-0957. Give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give us a jingle on the landline. Oh, this is beyond the pale. Now, here is another story of our society just going to heck in a handbasket. Did you hear what Scripps College in California is doing now? I'm serious when I say this. This shows all the more that we are living in an age of Sodom and Gomorrah all over again. Scripps College in California has put on their enrollment and acceptance forms for the college 10 different options for students to fill in their gender. Now, I'm having a real hard time trying to figure out what they could possibly put in for 10 different options for a gender. You know, the good old days, like I say at the end of my program every day, the way things were, the way things ought to be, two, male and female, which really is the truth today. But common sense has distorted that now to Scripps College asking for, Gina, what in the heck could they possibly put in 10 different modes or schools of thought for gender?
I only know of 2.
That's what I'm stuck on. What's the matter with us?
I don't know. Maybe they could put in, I don't know.
I have no clue.
I don't know.
I mean, why 10 on their form? You got to help me on this, audience, because I can't even imagine what this is. It just shows the idiocy, the lunacy, and the decrepit way that we're starting to go in a secularized society that has no common sense. No common sense.
10?
10.
Wow.
I mean, there are some confused people out there.
10 has me confused. We got a phone call.
And I'll bet you every one of them would fall in a fajita.
Probably so.
Okay. We'll take that call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zed.
Yes, I kind of had a feeling you'd call. Good morning, Kilt Man. Go ahead.
Well, I can simplify this a little bit.
Okay, good.
Give them one form
Yeah.
that says liberal or other. And if it says liberal, then give them the 10 other options, and the other one they'll give them 2.
Well, yeah, but you're a sharp guy and a man of the world. Please help Gina and I that we seem to be at a mental stalemate here. We can't figure out how you could possibly come up with 10 different genders.
Yeah, but we're talking about California.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that should explain it right there. California,
Yeah.
Who knows? They come up with a whole different one every month.
But
that's just according to who burned their face in the fajita or not.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. Isn't it indicative of how screwed up our society is, Kilt Man?
Well, the thing is, they sit there and they whine and cry. The problem is, go back to the parents.
Yeah.
They wanted parenting. They wanted somebody else parent them. If they didn't do what they wanted them to, then they sued them. They didn't like how they did stuff. They sued them. We can't hurt little Johnny or little Susie or what have you.
So we're going to sue you on it, and it's never the kid's fault.
Well, I was watching the story the other night on the news, and it made me so sick to my stomach that I thought about turning it off because it was just mentally really stupid. But I watched it, and it was all about this mother and father, and I did not get the state that they live in. That much I did not get, and I tried to find it. I think it was someplace back east. Well, their little boy, 4 years old, was playing with dolls, so that meant that the mother would not dress him in boys' clothes anymore, so she started buying him dresses. Now, this is a family that should be arrested on child abuse.
No kidding. No kidding at all. And the other thing is put the mother in an asylum.
Oh, boy, big time. No, I mean, this is how
problem right there.
Yeah, our whole world.
Kids, they're still trying to figure out everything. They haven't even learned everything until you hit junior high anyway. So they're doing all kinds of different things just because other people are doing it. And if they're around girls with dolls, they're going to play with girls with dolls.
Oh.
If they're around guys, girls, they're going to be playing with the little army men and stuff like that. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. We have developed a nation of, I guess the best way to say it is wussies. We're afraid to let our kids do anything. We're afraid to let them outdoors. We're afraid to let them have any participation in sports. They might injure themselves. We're so afraid to do anything. And then we're going to a non-gender society of, well, if you want to pick another gender, you want to be a little girl, you want to be a little boy, go ahead. This is nuts. God is shaking his head in heaven.
Well, it's like that couple down in Utah. They're trying to teach their kids independence and that, letting them walk back from the park to their house. And what happens? The cop picks up the kids, and the parents get in trouble.
Yeah, I know it.
How many times did we walk? I mean, when we were kids and that, we used to cover miles.
Amen.
Kids, we used to have to walk a mile or so just to a bus stop.
I went to a country grade school, for heaven's sakes. We played up in the woods after school and didn't get home until dark.
That's exactly it. You got out there, as long as you were there for dinner, you got your chores done, you got your homework done, you took off, they wouldn't come look at you until it was bedtime.
Yeah, it's a different time and a different place, and it's a different thought process, which is absolutely, I think, ridiculous. Kilt, man, good to hear from you. God bless.
That's where they come up with a new theory for parenting is PPP, piss poor parenting.
Well, that kind of tells it like it is. Thanks, Kilt, man. God bless. See you later. Don't forget Streamline Precision. I talked to Tim Vaughn the other day. Man, these guys are good. Hard-working professionals at 120 South, 100 West of Burley. Streamline Precision right next to Dot Foods. Number to call. Now, write this number down. This is more important than anything else right now. 431-7314. Why should you write that number down? Because you call Tim and get estimates on the jobs that you need accomplished. And right now they're really busy. They're trenching for pipelines, and they're doing a lot of dairy and ranch concrete work for mangers and feed alleys. I'll tell you what, they are so good about providing complete excavation services for public projects, large pipelines, irrigation canals, everything. You give them a call. Call Tim and they can help you. They are a family of companies providing construction, excavation, and fabrication services. Streamline Precision. Great folks. Call Tim Vaughn today, 431-7314. Professionals serving you. Absolutely. Oh, and don't forget, too, that this coming Saturday, Merv May's going to bring down the gavel and say, hey, let them in, boys. Bring in lot number 23. Here we go. Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale, March 7th, Saturday at 1 p.m., Burley Livestock Auction Yards. Oh, yeah. Cordell Sheridan and his family going to be selling ripping good bulls. Oh, my. 70 head of bulls and 15 head are coming 2-year-olds, 55 head big mature yearlings, and these cattle were raised in the rocks, and they know how to get around. Let me tell you, they've been there and done that. So you check out the best. Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale, 1 p.m. Burley Livestock Sale Yard this coming Saturday. And we're going to be visiting with Cordell in about a half an hour. So he's going to be on the program this morning. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear about Hillary Clinton? What she did yesterday? She somewhat broke her silence over the emails and everything, and as if it was the old statement about Benghazi, well, what difference does it make? Well, she asked this question in a speech that she was giving the other evening. She said, don't you someday want to see a woman president of this country? And the crowd went wild. All the liberals, they were sitting there going, oh, yes, Hillary, we love you, we love you. Well, I saw that, and it was just before Deanne prepared my supper, and it spoiled my appetite. Yes, Hillary, I'll be honest. Someday I would like to see a woman as president of this United States, but that someday does not involve you or your family. The trust factor is gone. I don't think you would make a president that at all would be even close enough in intelligence as to the lousy president that we have already. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just had a comment about the school in California and giving you all them choices to decide what you are. The problem is that parents have coddled their children, and you kind of hit on it with Kilt Man. But nowadays, kids are given whatever they want.
Yep.
And I've heard that it's cool to be gay in the schools, whether you're gay or not.
Oh, brother.
It's cool to say that you're gay.
Yeah.
Well, where are their parents saying that's unacceptable?
Hold it just a second. Stop. Because your point right there is one that needs to be elaborated on. What happened to parents and our Bible in our lives and a belief in God, our Creator, that we were made in His image and we were made male and female? I mean, there is no honoring what we were made as and for. And this slovenly parental or lack of parental guidance, oh, little Susie likes to play with army soldiers. Let's dress her up as a boy. This is idiocy.
Well, it is idiocy, and the point is that the parents don't want to be parents, they want to be their friends.
Yep.
And so when little Johnny comes and says, well, every boy at school is dressing in girl pants, I want to go buy some girl pants, instead of saying, pull your head out of your rear, parents are saying, okay, let's take you to the store and buy you a bunch of girl pants.
Yeah.
But walking around in your sister's pants. So it's a contribution to the problem where they need to be handing out a little bit of discipline, like our parents did to us, and teaching them what it means to be a boy or a girl.
Absolutely. And be proud of what you are, and be proud of your family, and be proud of your upbringing, be proud of your heritage. We're not teaching these kids any of this today. I mean, some of these parents, like you said, they should be arrested. I said earlier for child abuse, because I think that's what it is. This, you pick out what you want to be, and you can be anything. If you want to be a little girl, Johnny, you go ahead. This is complete incompetency, and those parents should have the children taken away from them.
Well, absolutely. And do these people claim to be Christians?
Oh,
because God does not make mistakes.
That's bingo. I've said that on this program 1,000 times. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thanks, Ed.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's it. And you've heard me say that. God doesn't make mistakes. Boy, but these people today, unbelievable. Talk more about Hillary in just a minute, but right now I also want to tell you, don't forget to tune in on Tuesdays for Dr. History at 10:06. Oh my goodness, brought to you by Minnecash Sales, 1321 East Main in Burley with Zach and Joanne, and they've got all the carpet. Oh, talk about carpet, man, the great quality carpet. They just got back from Las Vegas, and they brought back a lot of carpet with them, and they've got the best of doors. I know because I put a brand new door on my back door. Well, I put a brand new door in my back porch. I guess that sounds better. Anyway, they've got all the vinyl and metal siding and all the Tartar Ranch and farm equipment. That's the best, I'll tell you. Minnecash Sales, 1321 East Main in Burley, right across from the Burley Airport, bringing you Dr. History on Tuesdays. There was one other little note I had to make here. I'll get to it in a minute. Go ahead, caller, quickly.
Yeah, good morning. There's a new book out called Technocracy Rising. Now, people may not understand what that word means, but it's using all the electronic surveillance and monitoring, data collection, so forth, to basically create Huxley's Brave World, New World Order, or 1984 with Orwell. And it's by Patrick Wood. You can order it on Amazon, but it's called Technocracy Rising. And when you're talking about the attack on Christianity, it's basically these a group called the Trilateral Commission, which has some of the most elite people in the world, or people that you know prominently in the news on a regular basis. And these people, in my thinking, are extremely evil in that they want to create this new world order and in the process make slaves of each of us. But I would recommend people take a look at that. It's called Technocracy Rising, the Trojan Horse of Global Transformation.
Okay.
And by Patrick Wood.
I appreciate it.
It's devastating. What they want to do, of course, is change Christianity to this new worship of the earth, sustainable development. Agenda 21's all part of that program, and the global warming hoax.
I agree with you. Adrian, I got to run and do the weather forecast, but I want to just throw something at you real quick, something for you to ponder on today. This is a quick news note. If I were in New York City and I still had my kids living at home, I would be pulling them out of the public school system this morning. I don't know if you heard this or not, but New York City Mayor, extreme liberal leftist Bill de Blasio, came out yesterday afternoon and said they were going to add 2 more days to the New York City school year to honor Muslim holidays. My kids would be out of school in a heartbeat.
Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me. We got to be politically correct, but boy, Netanyahu really told it like it was, and we better be listening to what he has to say and go back and realize these people hate us. And, of course, it was Henry Kissinger that destabilized that whole Middle East. He also destabilized Rhodesia. I actually worked with a guy that came out of Rhodesia.
Yeah, well, I got to run and get the weather in, Adrian. I appreciate your comments, but I'm waiting on Michael Rogers. Call me back later when I got more time. Thank you, sir. God bless you. I don't want to be rude to Adrian, but I got to run. Let's go to the weather real quick. Brought to you by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Ryan and the rest of the crew. And don't forget, they're in Old Town Twin Falls since 1936. Always the best deal on firearms and great customer service. I mean that. They have got a super staff that can serve you. With the best of guns, ammo, and accessories, Red's Trading Post. Here now, Michael Rogers weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers, presented the Rat at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. NASCAR is in town. 43 drivers, all doing the same thing. They drive fast. They turn left. There will be 42 losers and 1 winner when it's over said and done. How's the weather down here? Pretty nice. How's the weather where you're at? Pretty nice. You're going to start to hit a warming trend now. In fact, the warming trend starts today, and you're going to go all the way into next week. So, that being said, if you're making plans on coming down to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway to see NASCAR, you're going to have a nice drive, especially if you take U.S. Highway 93. But other than that, I will be at the track. If you see me, go, hey, take a picture, and I'll be more than happy to do that at no charge. How about that? 51 for the high today. 20, make that 31 for the overnight low. Enjoy the day, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
There you go. Michael Rogers weather brought to you by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. The best of ammo and guns and help from their great staff. You stop in and see Red's Trading Post in Twin today. Also, real quick, don't forget our friend Scott Gano and his crew, landscaping and sprinkler service. My goodness, they're busy this time of the year because if your trees need properly pruned, give them a call. All the fruit trees, ornamental trees, shade trees, and if you got large, dangerous trees that look like, oh, look out, they're going to fall on the Volkswagen, you better get a hold of them today. And by the way, they've been in the tree and landscape business for over 35 years. They know what they're doing. And they also put in paver walks and patios. Hey, call them today, 431-8733. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. You know, this deal with Hillary, I honestly hope, and I mean this, this is something I really want to see happen. I want this episode on her emails that should have been with a government server. I want this episode to get huge. I want this episode to possibly bury any chance that that woman has to run for president. I want to see even the liberals on the left turn against her and shun her. I am so so sick of people that are so inept, acting as elitists like she and Bill and others of their ilk. I want to see her turned out to pasture. Go take care of the grandchild, but leave the American public alone. What are your thoughts? Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The press refers to Hillary and Bill as the powerful Clinton machine. And you know, there's been a lot of people through the years, even before Bill Clinton became president when he was governor of Arkansas, there have been a lot of people that were very, very concerned and almost, well, they were afraid to speak out and say things that they knew had gone on behind closed doors, or illegal or illicit things that had gone on that they were too afraid to talk about. And do we want more of the same in power as the president with Hillary? Absolutely not. It's this elitist thought that we, the Clintons, and others of their ilk, are better than the masses. It's about time that we picked up a Constitution. I have a copy right here, always on my desk. And we looked at that and developed and regained pride in those first three words. We, the people. Not we, the Clintons. Not we, the Obamas. Not we, this, that, or other on the liberal left. But we, the people. And it's about time that we started fighting back. And you can use the word fighting any way you want to. Whether it means actual fighting, or whether it means at the ballot box, whatever. We, the people, need to take this country back. I got to be really careful about this, because I don't want, and I'll never ever say who sent this to me, but a very dear friend of mine sent an email to me yesterday that absolutely brought tears to my eyes. I'm not ashamed to say this. The email showed that this man was very despondent for the future of America, very despondent for the future of his family. The email told me the man was very afraid and worried about the fall of America, and that this man had basically, looking at the scheme of things that was going on in this country with the Obama administration and the total lack of transparency, he basically has given up hope for America. And I read this, and it was so sad. It was so sad, because basically it gave me more of an incentive to spit in their eye and fight harder. There are those right now that are after all conservative talk shows. There are those that are starting with the big network shows, whether it's Rush Limbaugh, or Laura Ingraham, whomever. It doesn't make any difference. There are those that are after me. That's fine. I'm going to keep fighting, and I'm going to keep spitting in their eye, because I will not weaken. I'm never going to bend to their liberal thought. They can say, we'll shut you down, we'll go get you, they can wreck our careers, wreck our businesses, try to tear apart our families. Go for it. Because I will spit in your eye. We, the people, had better stand up soon, because this country is absolutely letting the sleaze and the filth take over. We, the people, need to stand up. Don't forget our dear friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Center. Spring tire sale going on right now. And all their tires are on sale, like the Wildcat AT2, traction and all season, smooth ride. I'll tell you, it's on sale. And also like their best passenger car tire, the Ultra Z900, all season design, and up to 80,000 mile warranty. Woo, my, depending on the size of the tire. That is really something. And they've got the best tire value promise in the industry, along with very convenient credit for tires and services, always at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Now, being that it's Thursday, we have a very, very busy day. And next hour, we're going to start with the Chamber Report with the lovely Kay Cameron. Then we're going to have a little visit about Cordell Sheridan and his bull sale. That's going to be a ripping good sale. And then, of course, Dog Nation coming up. And then at 9:30, we got Rita Ramsey. And then, well, we just got all kinds of goodies for the rest of the morning. But I urge you to be a part of the program and be listening at 10:30 this morning. And unfortunately, it's only going to be a very short interview because this lady is in such demand right now. She has to leave for a TV interview, I believe. And we're going to have back the author of Shariaism is here in America. And that's a wonderful lady, Joy Brighton, and we're going to have her on the air at 10:30. So I don't want you to miss that. It's going to be very, very good. Okay? Let's see what else have I got cooking here today. Jack Euler yesterday was on the program and asked me to remind everybody that Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife, they're going to have their 12th annual Magic Valley Chapter Rally for Wildlife Banquet and Fundraiser, and that's coming up on Saturday, March 14th at the Canyon Crest Event Center. The preview starts at 5:30, dinner at 6:45, 6:45. So don't forget, Sportsmen for Fish and Wildlife 12th Annual Magic Valley Chapter. We are going to take a little break for a couple of minutes and be back with more Zeb at the Ranch. Don't you go away. I love listening to that piano. I mean, there's just something about that little piece where they just really hit those ivories. I love that. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Thank you very much. Hey, before we get started, I want to remind you, too, about Hanson Mortuary with our dear friends over there, Joel Heward, his staff, his family, all of them taking very, very personal attention to you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. Please write the number down and call them. We all should get information on pre-planning of funerals. 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, serving you and your family. Once again, a reminder that this Friday night, don't forget, it's going to be right there at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. They're going to have another girls' night out. Look out, girls. It's going to be fun learning all about the crafts and all the home decor items and everything. All you have to do is call and get registered at 678-6945. They want to know how many are coming, so, hey, call 678-6945 and look for the blue door, Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Really nice folks. Well, when you talk about really nice folks, of course the conversation must include the director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, Kay Cameron. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, and you?
If I was any better, I couldn't stand it.
That's great. It's a beautiful day. It's a little calm, a little cold, but I think we are going to have a fabulous weekend.
I talked to Kay yesterday in her office, and like any other day of the week, but now especially looking at spring, you're really gearing up for a lot of outside activities. Spring is right around the corner.
Absolutely. You know, the park has just seriously been so full of activity of people. I guess they've had a little cabin fever and wanting to get out, and kids riding their bikes and their scooters and their skateboards. I guess not just kids. You see people of all ages, and it's just fun to see people getting out and enjoying the community and not being holed up. So that's always nice.
You know, Kay, along with what we were discussing the other day, there is a litany of things, a calendar of things that people can do. I mean, when you hear this, I don't know what to do, there's nothing on the schedule, that's not really true at all, is it?
No, there's always something to do. You just might have to actually get out and go do something.
Yes.
I think is really what it comes down to. But hey, first, before we get into that, I just want to give a big shout out to all of the students in all of our area high schools who either just returned from the state wrestling tournament. Great job. Who may be going to the basketball tournament this week. Best of luck. We wish all of our local teams the best of luck. We hope that they do well. And then, all of the other state games coming up. We wish everybody the best of luck, because I know the Special Olympics just had their state games, I think, last week. Congratulations to those participants, and just good job to all of our local high school students for the great job that they do.
Absolutely. And, boy, this weekend is going to be a power-packed weekend, like you said, with the state basketball tournaments, and we got a lot of people from this area going to the state tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, so congratulations, good luck, and we hope they represent well.
All right. Anything else cooking this morning?
Well, yes, there's always stuff cooking. We had our monthly board meeting this morning. A lot of things in the work. We're working on putting together some seminars for employers in our community coming up probably in April that I'll talk about in the future. But with topics such as good hiring practices and things that you can and can't ask in an interview. I know a lot of our employers in our community are small employers, and they don't have an HR manager that keeps track of all of that stuff. And so anything that we can offer to help them provide them with the information that they need to be in compliance with the law and to help them have better hiring practices, we want to be able to do that. So, like I said, it's in the planning stages. We'll have more information on that in the future. And so I look forward to sharing that with you. But we're really looking at what can we do to continue to educate our workforce. A lot of our workforce in our community, they're underemployed. They have more skills of maybe the level of what they're working at. So what are the things that we need to be doing to help provide them to continue to grow and to improve themselves and make them more employable for better jobs? Mm-hmm. And what kind of things do we need to do to attract new workforce into our community? And so those are just some of the things that we're having the conversation on and having a discussion about, because we do have a lot of great opportunities here in our community.
Absolutely. Now, if people are new in the area or they're traveling through and they need information about where to go, what to see, and how to get it done, give us all the different locations of information at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce.
Yes. Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Go to our website at minicassiachamber.com, and if you're looking for all those great things to do, click on the calendar button. It will tell you all of the stuff that we have for our community calendar right there on our website.
All right.
You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn.
All right. Kay Cameron, Director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Thanks, Kay. God bless. Have a fun weekend.
I will. You too.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Nice lady right there at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Don't forget our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens, dedicated, devoted, all of this to your financial future and making sure you're protected with the best of life insurance, health insurance, and retirement planning, along with employee benefits. They know, and they can help you. Please give them a call, make an appointment, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. We're going to go back to the phone line right now because this man and his family have dedicated their lives to raising the best doggone range bulls in the industry, and we're talking to Cordell Sheridan up there at the Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale this Saturday at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard at 1 p.m. Good morning, Cowboy Cordell. How you doing?
Doing good, Zeb. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. I would imagine you're probably sitting right there at the kitchen table kind of taking a little relax before the big weekend, right?
Well, yeah. I've got things I should be doing, but I'd probably rather be here talking to you.
Oh, Cordell, you smooth talker, you. Okay. Hey, tell me a little bit about your bulls. I mean, this is a ripping good sale. You've got Gelbvieh, Angus, and Balancers. Why are your bulls so good? What makes them better than most?
Well, I got to maybe get into a little bit of my philosophy on cattle. When I grew up, we had predominantly a commercial herd of Hereford cattle, and they were a lot of work. I mean, there were cattle in there, cows that when they calved, you had to get them in. They had what I call the football tips, and milk them out and get the calf started. And I decided that wasn't any way to raise cattle, so I've over the years developed what I call problem-free cattle. Mm-hmm. We don't have to spend time doing that kind of stuff. We calve our heifers in a big 160-acre field. I drive through them twice a day, and because of the genetics we use, we don't have calving problems, and we can check them twice a day and tag the calves, and that's all we need to do. Same with the cows. But one reason that we've been able to do that is the problem that some other people might have is they get to chasing extremes. Mm-hmm. We don't believe in that. If you go to they want to have the highest yearling weight that they can get in their cattle. Well, then they end up with cows that are too big a frame, that are hard keepers. If they're standing at a feed bunk their whole life, they do fine, but you put them out on the range, they come back in looking like a Ace Reed cartoon. Or they get too much milk. If you get too much milk in a cow, in range conditions, she might bring in a big calf, but then she's going to be open and not bred back, and you have to cull her or else run her for free the next year. And anyway, we breed for the optimum, the best we can get without going to the extremes, and breed for problem-free cattle. Right. So people can use our bulls, and the daughters that they keep out of those should be the problem-free type cattle.
The thing, I'd say this, and correct me if you don't think this is a fair assumption, but your cattle are raised out in the rocks, they're raised out on the range, and they're just not a bunch of wussies. That's
right. Yeah, they have to work for a living. They don't get pampered. They're not on irrigated pasture, and like I say, they calve out on their own. We don't pamper them that way, and the calf has to get up and suck and get to going. So yeah, they're not wussies.
All right. Now tell me this, Cordell. I've noticed that you've offered that the first year breeding season guarantee. Explain that to the audience in case they're not aware of what that is.
Okay. Usually that first year is when a bull might have problems. They're not smart enough to stay away from the big bulls, and they get a leg hurt, or sometimes they'll break their tool or whatever. But we guarantee those bulls. If they get injured, we'll replace the bull for the remainder of the breeding season, and then we'll take the bull back and get the salvage value, and then give them the difference in credit in next year's sale towards another bull. Or if they like the replacement bull, they can just go ahead and keep him. Or if the bull dies, which, knock on wood, it does happen sometimes, we replace those bulls.
Okay. Now, for the folks that are outside of this area, you're offering another special with your Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale. You're saying that free delivery of these bulls up to 300 miles from right here, right?
Right. Yeah, and if it's over 300 miles, we'll fudge a little bit, but or we'll prorate it out, and help them on the expense. Or if people want to bring their trailer to town and go ahead and haul that bull home, then we give them a $25 discount on each lot that they buy.
Okay. Now, the thing is, where are the bulls right now? Have you already hauled them into the Burley sale yard? Can the people see the bulls? How do they go about getting some advance of the sale recognition of what kind of great animals you got?
Yeah, we hauled them to Burley yesterday. They're down there at the sale yard right now, so if anybody was in the area and wanted to look at them, they're sure welcome to go out and walk through the pens and look at them there. If they don't have a sale catalog, I'm going to have some there at the sale yard in the office, or they can download the sale catalog off of our website. That's www.sheridancattle.com.
Now, I want to ask you this question. This is your 20th annual production sale. And in the notes it says, of course, that you spent a lifetime producing this herd of cattle. How have things progressed from 20 years in this business?
Well, they've slowly just kept getting better. We have, like I say, the problem-free cattle, but our weaning weights are higher, and then our conception rates, the cattle breed back rates are higher. We've got cattle that fit the industry that are going to hang up a good carcass, that are going to be able to marble, and great choice. So we're probably getting more consistent. This set of bulls that we got this year, I'm sure, is the best we've ever raised. From the top to the bottom, there's just not much difference between each bull. They're just all good.
Okay. Well, now this is going to take place on Saturday, this coming Saturday, March 7th at 1 p.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, and it's the Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale. Cordell, this is your last time on my program this week to tell everybody to get to that sale. It's going to be a ripping good one. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, we'd be glad to have everybody come in. If you haven't seen our cattle before, just come and look at them, even if you're not meeting the bull. We've got a complimentary lunch there. Patty'd be glad to feed you, and it's going to be a nice day. Just come and enjoy the sale.
Cordell, thank you on behalf of my wife and myself for doing business with us, and we certainly do appreciate the fact that you have an excellent production sale coming up this Saturday. God bless you, man, and best of luck.
Thank you, Zeb. I appreciate it.
All right, you take care. Cordell Sheridan of the Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale, and that's coming up this Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Nice people, let me tell you. We'll get our next little guest on the phone in just a moment, but stand by. First and foremost, let's ride. Vroom, vroom, vroom! Get on your ATV or your dirt bike or whatever. Vroom! Man, this weekend is going to be fantastic. I'm telling you, the weather looks like it's really going to be good. Oh, wait a minute. You say you haven't got your bikes in to get them serviced yet? You better call 436-4771 and talk to Scotty and the crew over there and get those get those bikes taken care of. Bit my tongue, it hurts. Let's ride Highway 24 between Rupert and Hayburn, where the fun is sold. They've got all the ATVs over there if you haven't got one. Oh my goodness, dirt bikes and all the accessories. Yes, sirree, Bobby. Where the fun is sold is right there at Let's Ride. You stop over and see those good folks today, okay? Also, real quick, let's see, I got to make a mark on that, and I want to tell you everybody, too, about Parkview. These are really nice people. Okay, nice people, but also they have earned a lot of recognition with a national award, recently awarded a 5-star rating from the government, the highest rating awarded to skilled nursing facilities, Parkview Rehabilitation and Care Center at 2303 Park Avenue in Burley. Number to call, number to remember, 677-3073. Parkview Care and Rehabilitation Center is a nursing home. Yep, and it provides medical nursing service for seniors with serious illnesses or disabilities 24 hours a day. The best taking care of you. And they never forget that you're their valued guest and the reason that they're there. Give them a call, please, 677-3073. Parkview Rehabilitation and Care Center, 2303 Park Avenue in Burley. Oh my goodness! Where in the world all these dogs come from anyway? We got dogs all over the place. Get this dachshund off the carpet, my goodness sakes. Let's check and see if Officer Mort is in the studio this morning with Minidoka Animal Control. Report in, please, Officer Mort.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
I am fantabulous. Hey, you were gone last week.
Yes, my kids and stuff and that both had dentist appointments, and they had to be sedated, which was quite comical with my son. I don't know if you've ever watched Duck Dynasty when Willie had to take his son to the dentist.
Yes, I did.
He was.
Yes.
That was my son to a T.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Did you video it?
No, he was doing most of that when we were driving home, and I didn't want to try to drive and video at the same time.
Yeah, but you should have taken a videographer so that all through his life you can embarrass him.
Oh, yeah, we should have.
Yeah.
And my daughter, when she got home, because my son fell asleep on the sedation, kind of like I do. But my daughter, boy, I tell you what, she was totally different. She went from being a little angel to 10 times worse than the Tasmanian devil.
Well, let me just say this in defense of your children. I have to go into the dentist this next week. I notice that sometimes I will be talking on the air, and then all of a sudden I have a couple of my grinners that start hurting, and I'm a little bit more than concerned about going to the dentist because I fear the dentist.
Oh, yeah, I'd rather get hit in the foot with a ball-peen hammer.
I would, too, and I'll furnish the hammer. Okay. What's going on in the world of canines?
Well, I'm trying to feature a couple of dogs today. One of them is he's kind of like a yellow and white lab cross. He was picked up by the Rupert Police Department last Sunday. It wound up in some lady's backyard. The poor thing is blind and out of its element. We are really trying to find its owner. And I mean, he's a real sweetheart of a dog, just very scared because he doesn't know his surroundings, so he's running into everything. Really trying to find him. He was found or picked up over on 2nd Street in Rupert in the 200 block.
Now, what kind of a dog is it again?
He looks like he's a white and yellow lab cross.
Oh.
I mean, real pretty dog. I mean, he's probably, we're figuring around 6-7 years old.
I see.
Looking at his teeth.
Oh, my.
And then we've also got one that about a little over a week ago, almost 2, I picked up. He'd been shot and everything. He's been at the vet since the day we picked him up.
Oh, my goodness.
And we're looking for help on that and trying to cover the vet expenses on him because I mean it's not cheap on that. So
no,
he's a very sweetheart of a dog. I mean he's a big white with black and tan or brown color pit bull. But I mean he is just a gentle giant. I mean I had to pick him up because he didn't have the strength to get up. I mean and he just kind of loved on me while I was loading him into the back of my truck.
Well, let me ask you this: were there any identifying marks or unique collars or anything?
No, we actually did find the owner, but unfortunately, because of the cost of the vet bill, they can't afford to pay the vet bill and that themselves.
Oh my goodness!
So I mean, it's one of them situations where they've been trying to work with the vet and everything and keep in contact with the vet, but I mean, we've got to do something with the poor guy because he needs to get out of the vet clinic and doesn't really need to be coming to our facility. So we're trying to get him taken care of so that he can either get home or we can get him to a rescue and stuff and that can get him into a good home.
You know, this is all the more reason I respect you as a person because everything that you do daily is not all bright lights and fun and smiles. This is really kind of a serious part of your job, and it's got to be gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching for you.
It can be. I mean, there's been more than once that I've actually wound up going out on a call and stuff and that where a dog has been seriously injured and I've had to go home and change my clothes because they've been covered in blood.
Oh, Ken, I'm so sorry to hear all this. I really am. And now give us numbers and tell people, come on, help. You need help on these dogs.
We do. We need all the help we can get, and if anybody's interested in helping out, they can contact the facility at 438-2200 or can reach me on my cell phone at 670-7268.
Do you have any bright spots at the end of the tunnel to talk to us about this morning?
Actually, I do. I had a young lady contact me the other day. Her little dog come up missing from from inside of her house while she was gone. She had it in a kennel and it come up missing.
Oh, boy.
The day that she talked to me about it, the very next day, I'd gotten a phone call saying that somebody had dumped a little dog over by their place, a puppy, and I got out there, and it just happened to be her puppy.
Oh, my, that's good.
So I was able to get that one back home, and her and her kids were just ecstatic.
I have heard, and I got to ask you this real quick because I'm almost out of time, but you and I talked about, it's been maybe 3-4 months ago, there were a lot of dog thefts going on. Hopefully that problem has been eradicated.
I'm hoping so. I haven't heard of any other ones other than the one from the other day. But I mean, we had the 3 dogs out there in the Jackson area that had come up missing, that are still missing.
Oh boy!
And one of the ladies up at the first lady that we had the report from, her and her husband actually canceled their trip down to Mexico because of it, and said that they're not going anywhere until they can find their dog either dead or alive.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Well, again, this is Officer Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control, and I've got nothing but the highest regard for Ken and what he's trying to do and what he does. Once again, please give us all the numbers for help and assistance on those dogs.
Okay, they can contact the shelter at 438-2200 or can contact me on my cell phone at 670-7268.
Ken, I always look forward to talking to you, and anything else we can do, just don't hesitate. We'll give you any airtime we can, okay?
No problem. I appreciate it, Zeb.
Thanks, Ken. Take care. Who let these dogs out anyway? Oh, that is my buddy, Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. And come on, folks, give him a call, help him out. If you know anything about those dogs or if you're interested in taking those dogs, please. Sad part of our life that people just don't have the responsibility to take care of animals. Hey, want to remind you, talk about responsibility. I'm going to talk about people that really have the responsibility of providing construction, excavation, and fabrication services second to none. They are the best. We're talking about Streamline Precision at 120 South, 100 West of Burley, and the number to call for estimates on any job you need done is Tim at 431-7314. Now, this is a company, Streamline Precision, specializing in large-scale industrial projects, experts in constructing agricultural buildings, grain silos, commercial steel buildings. Right now, they're trenching a lot of ground for the pipelines and also laying a lot of concrete for feed alleys and mangers. They can do it all. They can do it all, and they do it the best. They are also currently building the new Funk Dairy over here in Murtaugh. You give them a call. Streamline Precision in Burley, right next to Dot Foods. Number to call, Tim Vaughn, 431-7314. Professionals serving you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and say good morning to a lovely lady that we give some time to come on our program on Thursdays because she is very well educated in what's going on in the world. Rita Ramsey, how are you?
Good morning. I'm real good.
I must ask you, first and foremost this morning, as a lady, I'll bet you are ecstatic to see that Hillary might be throwing her hat in the ring to be president. The First Lady President, aren't you just ready to do handstands?
Actually, no, but yes, I guess we could because she's got enough junk that they can just focus on it for a long time. I don't know. It's just totally crazy.
Rita, I said last hour, if you were listening, the elitism, the I'm better than you and we're better than the little people. We're part of the Clinton machine. And they're doing things that they knew were illegal. I listened to a Democratic strategist this morning. You probably heard her on television and seen her, Jammu Green, and making thousands of excuses for what happened with Hillary with the emails and not running it through a government account. This is ridiculous. She broke the law.
Well, it is, and the part that really bothers me about it is instead of focusing on whether or not she broke the law and reporting all of that, they go, oh, well, Jason Chaffetz, he broke the law too because, look, here's his business card, and he has a personal email on it, and they go through the whole thing, and then in the article at the very end it says, well, he does actually have a government website too, but they're just trying to divert it however they can so that it's okay for Hillary to do it, but anybody else they'll try to bring up the attention to verifiably important and just try to take it someplace else.
I said this morning that I hope this episode with Hillary Clinton will bury her chances of a career as running for president. I do not trust this woman. I do not like this woman. I do not trust her intelligence or lack of. I don't want her anything to do with the presidency.
Yeah, I don't either. And, they kind of say, well, Elizabeth Warren may be going to run for president. So they ask her questions, and boy, she just stays away from it as far as she can, kind of like, I hope that something happens. But it's totally unfair because the news media is totally making it. It's okay for Hillary to do it. And by the way, defer the attention to somebody else who has nothing to do with anything and doesn't, first of all, like the one with Jason Chavez, the Congress doesn't have to do that.
Right.
But he had his own separate one and his government one. So, it was totally irrelevant.
The big news of the week, of course, and I'd like you to comment on it, was the flying in from Israel of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and his speaking before Congress. Now, I'm just going to state my case, and I'm more than welcome to have you chew me out if you think I'm wrong. I thought that he gave a very eloquent, to the point, very heartfelt speech about him and his country and their concerns about a possible nuclear holocaust caused by the bully of the Middle East, and that's Iran. And also, I think he pointed out in a very friendly fashion that this President Obama and this administration absolutely are not telling the truth, are not telling the American people about a deal that may be very insidious and against Israel. Now you pick it up from there.
Well, I think it's really sad the way that we treated him, but I'll tell you something. He is the adult in the world today, and he is about the only adult that is willing to get up there and say what it means and what it is and what we're going to do. I thought it was quite interesting this morning that there was an article about the Saudis are right behind Netanyahu. Of course, they know that they're going to have to depend on Israel to save their own necks, but it's really sad to think that we have an ally like that, and we're just pushing them right out the door and saying, hey, leave us alone. We can be friends with who we want to be friends with, and it's not you.
Rita, the low-class attitude or no-class attitude of Obama, Biden, Holder, Nancy Pelosi was just so rude. I never did like the woman, and there are words I can't even say on the radio that I feel that describe her attitude and actions. How low class could the Democrats be, further than what they were on the day of the speech?
Well, all I can say is I think they're acting like grade school kids. They're not even junior high kids. They're acting like grade school kids instead of saying, you know what, we need to be paying attention to this, and if nothing else, just out of diplomacy's sake, if you're a diplomatic person, you give them the floor and let them do their thing, and you shake hands and smile, and then, you go ahead and do your own thing, but you don't put them down and say, we don't agree, and we're not going to do it, and we're going to line up with Iran because we don't think that they're going to be a threat.
You know, what bothers me, and I know you're already, you've thought of this, is there seems to be a skipping over the various squares on the monopoly board of protocol here with Obama. And it seems like he and John Kerry are making deals and, quite frankly, loading the gun without telling anybody else about the bullets. The American public doesn't know what they're being tied into. It seems like some people in government know what the deal already is. But this man and his secretive ways, do you have any idea what we're being tied into with Iran?
No, and it's really sad to think that they just, I can't imagine in my wildest dreams why they would want to team up with Iran. I mean, look at their record. As a number of people have said on the TV, stations and stuff as they were doing it. Does he not remember 1980 when the Iranians had our hostages? Does he not remember, and they start mentioning all of these different terrorist attacks that the Iranians had sheltered those people before they made the attacks and funded a lot of them and everything else? Why in heaven's name would we ever want to team up with them? We should have sanctions to beat the band, holding them back, and the same with Russia, and just leaving them alone. Instead, it's like, no, we're going to be your friend. We can talk you into not hurting us. If we're your friend, you won't bother us, right?
You know, on this program, I'm an equal opportunity naysayer, and I'm going to spend a little time here cursing and condemning the GOP because they deserve it. They deserve a good swift kick in the posterior for their lack of doing what is right. I really am upset that many of the top GOP voted for a silly, stupid, toothless bill to help get amnesty for Obama. What are your thoughts?
That's absolutely ridiculous, and you know that somebody is trying to extort them or blackmail them or something because they had ought to be totally on the other side of the spectrum. They should be trying to pull in Democrats to help override it if they need to override a veto. They should be doing all kinds of stuff, and they're just kind of solemnly going along saying, oh, okay, it's all right, we can let them do this, no big deal, no problem, we'll be okay. Well, they've done studies, they found out all kinds of things that are saying these communities where these people are going to be coming to and staying are just going to end up broke.
Yeah.
And totally, you know, one thing that they said, and it really quite bothered me, is that they have no intention of asking them to assimilate. We just want them to come into your community, make their own community, and the government will bring money in and take care of them. And that's not going to work.
You know, this is so ridiculous because now the people are finding out in bits and pieces this amnesty. We're not talking maybe 5 million. It could be going up as much as maybe 15 to 20 million. And we do not have the infrastructure. We certainly don't have the jobs. And we certainly don't have the welfare programs available to take care of that many people. What is this idiocy that this Obama administration is trying to do?
It all boils down to one thing. If they would just go back to the laws that have been written, enforce the laws, maybe step up a way for people to come into our country legally. But if they would just enforce the laws, it would solve it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. Heck, you and I can figure that out. Why can't they figure out that in Washington? I just can't believe that we've got people back there that absolutely are just like, no, I guess this will just have to be the way it is. We don't want to discriminate against our friends who have come here. And meanwhile, and you know, this isn't just us from the South people. There are tons of people over on the West Coast that are coming in, most of them ladies that are pregnant from China. They're coming in on boats and having their babies so that they can stay here. Then they can bring their families over, and you know, it just keeps on going.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere. It's horrible, and we are not going to be sovereign.
We have a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller, quickly. Not a lot of time, so hurry with your question for Rita.
Okay, sure. I'd like Rita to comment about these trade agreements and an upcoming event that's coming to Burley on the 19th. So,
very good.
If you could do that, I'd sure appreciate it, because that's where our sovereignty is going, and our jobs and everything else is going to be napped on steroids. So I'd like her to comment.
I appreciate that. Rita, a big item and a big notable person coming in to tell us that all that glitters is not gold in our pockets on these trade agreements.
That's right. Minnecaja Tea Party is sponsoring for Arthur Thompson to come. He's the president and CEO, or he's the CEO of the John Birch Society. But he is a whiz kid when it comes to free trade. He knows all of the information. He studies up on it. He's even written a book that talks about it. These free trade agreements, sometimes people, and I know in the farming industry, a lot of them say, you know what, we've got to have those free trade agreements so that we can keep trading. And I think that we do need to be able to keep trading. The problem is that these free trade agreements aren't just free trade agreements. They have tons and tons of strings and lots of other things that will bring consequences down on this country like you won't believe, and it won't be free trade anymore.
Okay.
So if people have any concern at all for our country, they'll start learning about some of these things. My biggest deal is we want people to become enlightened as to what's going on, what the real reason is, so that they can talk to their Congress and Senate about this and see if we can't get some of this stopped. But it just includes tons of things like climate change, sustainable development, homeland security. international courts, and even the military is involved in this particular agreement. We can't have them go ahead and pass this, and the only way we're going to be able to fight it is if we learn about it. And so everybody who doesn't know all of the ramifications of it ought to be showing up to this free forum, which we, Minnecasia Tea Party, are paying for this man to come and educate us on it. Please come and learn.
Rita, I'm going to take just a little break. I've got to get Michael Rogers' weather in here real fast, and then I'll come back and I want to talk to you about the Internet in just a moment, so stay by the phone. Don't forget Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, and they're located at 382 North Overland in Burley, and they are the best. Minor emergencies, major care. I'll tell you what, your health is their number one priority, and they understand that being sick or injured isn't convenient, so they do their best to make your health care convenient for you. They will see you today. All you have to do is give them a call and stop in. 678-6996. 678-6996. Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland in Burley. And right now, here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers, presented the Rat at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. NASCAR is in town. 43 drivers, all doing the same thing. They drive fast. They turn left. There will be 42 losers and one winner when it's over, said and done. How's the weather down here? Pretty nice. How's the weather where you're at? Pretty nice. You're going to start to hit a warming trend now. In fact, the warming trend starts today, and you're going to go all the way into next week. So, that being said, if you're making plans on coming down to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway to see NASCAR, you're going to have a nice drive, especially if you take U.S. Highway 93. But other than that, I will be at the track. If you see me, go, hey, take a picture, and I'll be more than happy to do that at no charge. How about that? 51 for the high today. 20, make that 31 for the overnight low. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Michael Rogers' weather right here on Zebeth Ranch, brought to you this hour by Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center. Number to call, 678-6996, and they're located at 382 North Overland in Burley. Minor emergency, major care. They will see you today. Rita, the Internet and what's happening with our Internet is very, very scary with all these new Internet regulations. And I didn't know as much about this topic until I read and had some people on this week as to what's happening with the regulation of the Internet, and also what might be tied in with the FCC regulations of trying to stop conservative radio. The gentleman by the name of Mark Lloyd, and I use the term gentleman loosely, is the FCC Chief Diversity Officer, and he said that the FCC should fine conservative talk show stations and then give the money to liberal public broadcasting. What are your thoughts about this gentleman?
Well, it kind of goes back to the same old thing. Conservative talk shows can get enough sponsors because that's, just regular old people thinking.
Right.
We all think the same. We're common sense and we're conservative. And so they can find sponsors for it, but you can't find sponsors for the libs. So it's like, well, we've got to do this old spread the wealth, take from the ones that have it and give it to the ones that don't. And so we've got to be fair, and the only way we can do it is to find them and make them pay for their competition.
Liberal radio failed and fell right on its face, didn't it, Rita?
Oh, yeah. There are very, very few liberal talk shows that are doing well and holding up their end. I'm not going to say there aren't some, because on Fox I often see talk show hosts who are liberal, and they have radio shows. So obviously in some of their areas they're doing okay, but they're not. You don't find the big major markets with them, and so you know that there isn't a big base out there to support them. And the other thing is when you've got to take away from those who have it and give to the others, that's socialism. They're telling us that what they want to do is just make the rules, and they can say who can be on the internet and who can't, who can be on the radio and who can't. What it's all going to boil down to is we're going to lose our freedom. They're going to turn us into countries like China and India and Korea. in that they will find out who's saying what and just totally not let him be on anymore. And so we've lost that, and that's as a result of our Congress and our Senate not standing up and saying, wait a minute, we are not going to allow you to do this. Because as we remember, that was a panel of 5 people, 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, who decided this is what they were going to do. And they didn't just decide on their own. They decided because the president said, this is what you're going to do.
Rita, one last thought here this morning. We got about 4 minutes left. I don't know if you had a chance to hear or see part of the hearing that was taking place yesterday with EPA Administrator McCarthy, and she was asked various questions about the EPA and why they feel that they need another $500 million, that's with a B, $1 billion to fight climate change. And she was asked very simple questions about, if there's climate change, why are there fewer hurricanes hitting the coast of the United States? And also, if there's climate change, why are our temperatures actually in the last 18 years going to the colder side? And she couldn't come up with any answers and said, well, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to get back to you. This is the EPA administrator that doesn't know anything. What is your response to her?
The answer is, and you and I know it, and I'm surprised that they don't, is nobody has control of that. Nobody will have control of that. God's in charge of it, and we can do all we want. We can bow, we can dance, we can do whatever. We can spend tons of other people's money. We can put all kinds of fines out there for everybody, and it's not going to change anything.
Well, this deal about climate change, I'm very embittered against this administration and their stupidity. I'm very embittered, even on a local basis, for one of the editors of the Times News to ascribe to this idiocy of climate change. And again, God's got his hand on the thermostat. But they're going to sell us down the river to the point where it's nothing more than a 7-letter word, control.
Oh, that's absolutely it. And anybody who has any delusion otherwise is way, way, way wrong. It is control to the nth degree.
What do you think, though, in the last 2 years? And this is where I'm very fearful. I'm very afraid of what this administration is going to do in the next 686 days before they leave office with the pen and the phone. This man is to be reckoned with.
Well, you would think that we would have enough common sense with our Congress and Senate that they could start squelching some of this from happening, but they're just standing by letting it happen and filling their pockets with money is the only thing I can figure. It is just totally crazy, and every time we turn around, there's not one thing, there's 2 or 3 others. There's the ammunition thing, there's the amnesty thing. We've got all kinds of things out there, and things are coming at us so fast that it's just like being in front of a pitching machine, and it just keeps pitching balls, and you just can't hit them because they're coming so fast at you that pretty soon you just have to duck your head and hide.
Now, one last thing I wanted to mention to you, and I know you probably saw this, but I was enraged. I said earlier that if I had children in the New York City school districts, I would pull them out. Bill de Blasio, the extreme leftist mayor of New York City, has added 2 more days to the New York City school year to celebrate 2 Muslim holidays. My kids would be out of school, no questions asked.
Well, that's what the big problem is there's not enough parents that would actually do that or demand that there's some accountability there. We don't need to be letting everybody have their holidays. If those people want to have holidays and they don't want their kids going to school, then just give a note to the teacher saying they were out for parental reasons and excuse them.
Absolutely.
That's all they have to do. It's
Absolutely.
not that difficult.
What is going on quickly? I got 1 minute with the Tea Party.
2 weeks from tonight is our meeting, March 19th, and it's on the free trade, and it'll be at the King's Fine Arts Center Little Theater at 7 o'clock. There is no charge. Please come, get a hold of anybody who might be the least bit interested. The rest of you who aren't interested, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. You need to learn about this kind of stuff. So we invite everybody to attend and learn.
All right. Rita Ramsey, every Thursday, very enlightening, very informative. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you next Thursday. Thanks, Rita.
Okay, thanks, bye.
You bet. Take care. Very nice lady right there, Rita Ramsey, and we do appreciate her being on the air. While we have just a minute, before I do my Starving to Death, I want to remind you about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Oh, my goodness, I started up that therapy again on my leg and my hip, and they know all the exercises. They know all the sports medicine. They know everything. Great, friendly staff, and they've got that hydrotherapy pool with the treadmill in the bottom. Oh, my! They can help you get back to being you. Please give them a call, 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Really good folks. Right now, at this time of the morning, I'm hungry. I am hungry, and I'm starving to death. And I know some great places for you to go for lunch. Let's tell you about them. How about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Listen to this, and this is good any time of the day. I love breakfast burritos. Oh, so good at Taco Bandito. Scrambled eggs, bacon or sausage. Oh, and I'll tell you what, cheese, onions, tomatoes, and sauce all on a tortilla shell. Knock your boots off. Delicious at the Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. How about burgers, etc.? Well, they've got 2 locations serving you at 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. And I mean, they've got delicious burgers and the bacon burgers and the cheeseburgers, and they've got all the onion rings and the fries. And on Sundays at the Burley location, shrimp dinner special. Don't miss that. Great, helpful people, always serving you at burgers, etc. on Oneida in Rupert and Overland in Burley. You better believe it. Oh, let's head over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. Oh, my goodness, delicious French fries. Either the steak fries or the regular fries. And they've got hand-patted hamburger patties made daily with love. Oh, my. And, of course, Steve's famous nacho fries topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. And the pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. You're going to love it. You're going to love it at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And last but not least, in our search for great food when you're hungry and starving to death, don't forget, I'm swallowing hard because I'm just absolutely drooling. The AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness. And did you hear what they started? A brand new country fried steak on a bun. Oh, delicious with their signature white sauce and lettuce and Swiss cheese. You are absolutely going to love it, along with maybe a shake. They can make any flavored shake. And they got the kids' baskets and the combo meals and the famous Farmer Brown burgers, all of that at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Oh, my goodness. Gina, I am hungry and starving to death. How about you?
You know what sounds really, really good right now?
What's that?
Some biscuits and gravy, 2 eggs done over easy, slathered in Tabasco sauce and pepper.
Darn you.
Does that just sound good?
You know, I would love to splurge, and I would love everything I mentioned on those places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Honest to goodness, my eyes kind of sink back in my head, and I start to drool, and I get lightheaded. I want to eat some real food.
How is that cardboard treating you anyway?
You know, I've thought about jumping out of a basement window.
I don't blame you. I'll scrounge and have something really good for you.
You really don't have anything to look forward to. A lot of people say, boy, I can't wait for supper, or boy, I can't wait for breakfast. And I sit there and go, why? What is there going to be different? Nothing.
You're just going to be eating cardboard again.
Oh, my gosh. I wouldn't even begin to tell you, and it's not my lovely wife's fault, because she's an excellent cook, an excellent baker. But what are you going to do when you have nothing to work with? What are you going to do? Starve.
Yeah.
Okay. I have lost weight, though.
Yeah, and how much weight have you lost?
Since the 23rd of January, I've lost right at 16 pounds.
Hey.
Yeah, and I have made friends and new acquaintances with old Wranglers.
You mean you're able to back into them again?
Oh, man, forget the vice grip. Okay, I'll be back in 6. Oh, here we go. Into the last hour this morning. Good morning. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and thank you very much to our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And also, let's not forget some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Thank you very much. We're going to get started with our next guest in just a few minutes, but I want to remind you about the Chadwick Sports Grill. 139 West Main in Burley with delicious food. Listen to this. Listen to this special for today, and this just knocks my boots off. Delicious. Stuffed chicken breasts with Dijon sauce, served with veggies and choice of potato or soup and salad. Oh, my! You better get into the Chadwick Sports Grill. Delicious. All the menu items are delicious. The specials are fantastic at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Right now, I'm going to ask Gina quickly if she can get on the radio. There's been people that have called, and Gina, there are some calls and questions in regards to what games are going to be carried on K-Bar. I don't have the answer to that.
Just for today on K-Bar at 3 o'clock, we are airing Declo, and then at 8 o'clock tonight, we will carry Burley versus Rigby.
Okay, and then everything hinges on a win or lose situation after that.
Yep.
Okay. Is there an office number or somehow they can call and find out if their team is going to play at a certain time?
But look at the brackets. Get online and go to the Idaho High School Athletic Association website.
Okay. And you and others, of course, are going to be running the board and carrying the games.
We're carrying the games. I'm not going to be running the board. My goal is to not be here.
I like your honesty. That's a great way to say it.
My brother is going to be here. We are going to be airing the games. 3 o'clock today for Declo. Should start the pregame right about 2:30, 2:45. That is going to, and Rick Haberman is going to be calling the game for Declo. And then, of course, Doug Manning, he's going to be on the air at 8 o'clock tonight, probably right around 7:45 for the Burley game. So that's going on. And then for Twin Falls, they're going to be airing that game on KZNO.
Okay.
And that is going to be at 1:15 this afternoon. And then also we're going to be covering Buell, but that's going to be on 1400 KART, and they play at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
All right. I bet you that's our guest waiting for the next segment.
I've got 2 phone calls. Let me figure out who we've got, because we've got 2 people on the phone.
Okay, I'll just hold on for just a second and remind you that in just a very few moments we are going to go to Cassia County School Days. And I'll just go ahead and give a little advertisement for those good folks. Don't forget, we're very blessed on this program to have Cassia County School Days brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And they're celebrating 12 years in business all the way through March 8th with a 12-day birthday party celebration with really some super buys, 20% off items like all the games, toys, and books. And, of course, don't forget they've got the new spring arrivals on Cherokee and Dickey Scrubs. And we say thank you to A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also thank yous go out to the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. For over 14 years, the Ambulatory Surgery Center continues to save area residents thousands of dollars in same-day surgery procedures. So if you've got a surgery that you're planning, give them a call. Let them save you money. 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. And right now, let's go back to Gina and see who's first in our phone list.
We have got Brian on the phone for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Our guest for Cassia County School Days is a a gentleman that is a business and computer teacher at Oakley High School in Oakley, and his name is Mr. Brian Flake. Brian, good morning to you. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Give us a little background about what your course is about with business and computers at Oakley. Tell us a little background about you and the course.
Oh, this course that I'm currently teaching is business management, and it also coincides with business ownership and entrepreneurship. It's the capstone course of a sequence of courses that my kids can take to be prepared for business and maybe look into it as a career down the road.
Now, Brian, let me ask you this from A to Z. When you organized this course and presented it to your class, I mean, is there a certain age of the students that you wait to tell them about this? Are they freshmen? Are they sophomores, seniors? Well, what's the deal here?
In this one, we have a mixed class. It's 9th through 12th grade, so they're all in there and learning together, and I think all of them are at different stages in their learning, too. Seniors, I think they can look and say, I could use this really fast after I graduate, and the freshmen are, maybe this is something I might want to go into down the road.
Now, when you start them in this class, do you appoint like a team? Do you have like the CEO of the business and then maybe the manager and then maybe the underlings? How do you set this up so they really can understand how to run a business?
Well, for me, I kind of treat them like they're my employees. I tell them, you come in and I give you a task and you got to figure out your way to get it done. If you want to work as a team or individually or as a whole class, they're welcome to do that. And a lot of times you can see their groups form really quick and who they're comfortable with. And you still have those that maybe on one test they might decide, you know what, I want to do it by myself. I got some great ideas, and I always encourage them to be creative and show me what makes them different or stand out to keep the job, instead of having the attitude anybody could type that document or find out the reports that we need, but what makes them different from everybody else to, again, get and keep a job.
Do you notice, Brian, working with these kids, that they develop some skills that maybe they themselves didn't even know they had?
I hope so. That's why I encourage creativity, and I'm always looking for new things. And this program that I found, and I kind of encouraged it last year. I said, hey, I'm really thinking of doing this, and I want you guys to give it a shot. And these two classes at this time were the first ones to use it.
I would say that I'd be really, really interested in sitting in on one of those classes, because I've said for a long time on this program that I just don't think that we're really teaching the basics to these kids anymore, so that they can really get a real-world feeling when they either get out of high school and or graduate from college. Because, boy, when the real world slaps them in the face, sometimes they don't know how to get up off the canvas.
Yeah, I definitely, it's fun. It's a simulation, so it makes it so they have to make big decisions quickly and hopefully be successful. And they have certain expectations to meet before they can move on to the next lesson.
What are some of the things that you make them learn? What are some of the goals or exercises in the class itself?
Well, for this course, what we have going on, it's a virtual business, and I have it as sports and entertainment. And it's all I'm in there just to help them through if they have questions, but it ranges from, there's 10 lessons they have to complete, and it will not let them move on if they don't fulfill all the requirements. They kind of get frustrated with the reading and the math quizzes that they have to do before to let them try it out. So it's really realistic, I believe, and it ranges from the very first one, they have to learn how to do ticket pricing, and then they move on to other things like they're in charge of the parking, sponsorship, how to use their facility to host other events, and getting advertising, traditional, and how to use
other media to promote, and then right down to player management in that sports and entertainment.
Okay, now let me ask you a couple of questions there. In regards to meeting people and possibly being in advertising sales to promote the product, etc., do you have these kids perhaps get on the phone and call outside sources? Do you have them call teachers in the school? How can they learn rejection and in some cases make the sale?
Yeah, I guess I kind of protect them still in my classroom. I'll have them in the assignment. If you feel comfortable enough, we did one on distribution, and it said in there, call this company and try to figure out how things are done. And I mean, that's the good thing with technology. You have access to a lot of information, but so I'm protecting them a little bit there. They haven't gotten that rejection, but on the simulation, if it happens, they can get fines and other things if they don't do things correctly.
What about teaching them the bottom line? I mean, running a business is not all glory. Running a business is not all profit. Running a business also means, like I said earlier, getting slapped in the face maybe with people that aren't paying their bills, and you still got to meet your payroll. Are you teaching all this?
Yeah, I mean, still in a way of letting them know that their decisions that they make and the risks they take in business ownership. Some of them might not want to take that risk, but that's where we kind of feel them out and have them do a lot of things to figure out who they are and what they want.
What about...
I think we are.
Okay, now, do you do a lot of this class? I'm sure a lot of it's not in a textbook, so you maybe are probably flying by the seat of your pants on this, aren't you?
I guess that's I've taught art before too, and that's the creative part coming out of me. I don't really, no book. We get lots of different projects and throw them at them and see what their result and their solution to their problem is.
What about the administration when you told them that you were going to just kind of put together a course like this? What was their receptance to the idea?
Oh, really open. I feel like when you're trying to get kids and figure out who they are and what excites them and keeps them learning, I sat down and said, here's the 4 or 5 courses in business that they need to do in sequence to be able to feel like they have that confidence, and I can give them a certificate at the end and say they are knowledgeable of business and can perform certain standards and tasks that a business might desire in an employee.
Now, the kids themselves, you've got all different personalities, you've got all different backgrounds, etc. Tell us about some of the success stories or possibly some of the personality changes that you've seen in this class.
Yeah, I look at it and feel each student now, I got to get to know them and figure out how I can reach them. So I've spent time with them individually, and they're involved in, I like to call it like a self-evaluation on each project. They tell me what they've done and what they've learned and how they're growing. So I've seen a lot of growth from maybe the quiet, shy kid, or seen a lot of leadership growth in those individuals that do have like some raw leadership, but maybe now they're learning how to apply it in a business setting. So as we've gone on and done projects, we did one just recently, kind of like Shark Tank. You present an idea for a mall store. We had some judges come in, and it was kind of an eye-opener. I told the kids, they even watched an episode of Shark Tank, and they saw how mean they can be, but they also saw how they could get a deal done, and I think the kids were kind of surprised at the results. Some that thought they were doing successful things, they struggled a little bit, and then they realized how much more they have to improve on.
Absolutely. Well, Brian Flake, business and computer teacher at Oakley High School, I really do salute you for this business simulation class that you've got. I think it's a great big home run. Thanks for coming on my program this morning and discussing it.
Well, I appreciate your time. It's fun to have this opportunity, and it's fun to be involved in education.
All right, sir. God bless. Come back and see us again, okay?
Oh, thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Sure. Really interesting, and I think more classes, I think more teachers, and I think more schools should do this to prepare the kids for the real life out beyond the classroom. I think it's great. Congratulations to Mr. Brian Flake, business and computer teacher at Oakley High School. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you real quick about Burley Glass, 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley, with Gentle Ben and Leslie and the whole crew, always working really hard to provide great service to all the communities in the Magic Valley. Update your windows. In other words, check out those vinyl windows. We put them in this office, and they are fantabulous. Thank you, Gentle Ben. And you can increase your energy efficiency of your home by at least 2 to 3 times. So give them a call today, 678-1459. Burley Glass, 1029 Overland in Burley. Really, really good, folks. Hey, I told you last hour that this Saturday, of course, is going to be a real big day for the Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale. And that's, of course, going to be at the Burley Livestock Auction Yards at 1 p.m. Don't miss it. Cordell Sheridan and his family with Sheridan Ranches are going to be selling 70 head of really, really top-notch bulls. 15 head coming 2-year-olds, 55 head big mature yearlings. These are Gelbvieh and Angus and Balancers. You're going to love the cattle, and you're going to really be appreciative of the kind of cattle that are going through the ring for you and your herd. Range-raised bulls that know their way around out in the country, I'll guarantee you, and complimentary lunch that day of the sale at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard this coming Saturday, March 7th at 1 p.m. Sheridan Ranch 20th Annual Production Sale. Don't miss it. Let's see if Gina has our next guest on the program and ready to go. Oh, thank you very much. We're on the phone right now with a gentleman that I met a couple of weeks ago, and his name is Rex Jones. And Rex, you are working now over in Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, is that right?
I am.
Well, by golly, it's good to talk to you. Now, what is your job over there at Hanson Mortuary?
What I do over here at Hanson Mortuary is I do the pre-planning, the pre-need funeral arrangements for people in the community.
Mm-hmm. Now, is it safe to say, Rex, that most of us, and I'm guilty like a lot of people, we kind of put that on the back burner and don't we even want to think about it, right?
We don't. That's the hardest part about my job, is getting people educated enough and show the importance of this plan, these policies that we're trying to sell out there to people, that it's not something that we're not going to need. It is something that we do need.
All of us are not going to live forever. And you sit down with people, and once you get started, is there kind of a comfort zone that you have to try to get into?
There is, from the get-go. From the first time I call you on the phone, you know, I'm trying to fill you out. I'm trying to make you feel welcomed, because that's part of my job. And, you know, the reason I took this job is because I wanted people to help people, serve them in other ways, and this is one way I can do it.
Okay, now, when you sit down and talk to people about pre-planning of funerals, again, I'll go back and say a lot of them are probably really tentative, but when they figure out that this is their way to keep control of things, does their attitude usually change?
Oh, it changes. It changes a ton. You can see the burden kind of lift off their chest, and they know that they're taken care of on that end.
Rex, what about the being ready and prepared? I mean, a lot of us don't even know where to put various things like the wills and conversations with like people like yourself. What do we do?
We start out with, we'd like to get a 2-page planner out to people. We get a folder for them. We have them set that aside in a place that anybody can find it, but yet it's still secure because it does have your information in it. And so at that time a family member passes away, their husband, spouse, or children know where it's at. They can come in and get it, and all their stuff's there together. And then it just makes it so much easier when they come into the mortuary to have that time together.
Now, the husbands and the wives and all this material, do you organize it with the other members of the family also, or how do you keep kind of a line of communication as to what's been done?
What we usually do is like a couple, I like to meet with both of them. They plan their funerals together. Some of them like their children to come in, sit down. I've had that process. They want their children to be a big part of it. And so they know what's going on from step to step if they wish for their children or spouse to be there. But I recommend that your spouse is always with you.
Okay, now, can people make special allocations and special requests? Like maybe they want to have a special kind of a cowboy funeral, or maybe they were firemen and they want to have something in remembrance of their job as a fireman. Can they kind of do it the way they want it done?
Yes, they can. That's one nice thing about Hanson Mortuary and Joel, is we try to go out of our way to make this the best. You ask for it, we try to give it to you, no matter what.
Okay. And what about, cremating? A lot of people probably don't understand it, and you can go through and explain all that to them.
Cremation?
Yes.
Well, cremation is where we take and incinerate the body and get the ashes, and then we put it in an urn. You can go back to like a traditional service and have a memorial service, and then a commencement of the ashes at the cemetery.
Right.
We can view the body first, and then we can get the cremation done, and then do the same thing, have it commenced at the funeral home, at the cemetery, excuse me.
Right. I've got to ask you this question because I think it takes a really special person with a great personality. Let's talk a little bit about Rex Jones here for a minute. What behooved you to want to get into this industry?
Joel came back a couple years ago, and we've been friends for a long time. I've known him ever since I was a little kid. And I came back and started helping him a little bit because he needed that extra hand. And I love to be with those people and trying to help them and comfort them. It's not an easy job because you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
But it was easy because I do enjoy those things. I do love helping people out. I love coaching sports. I love trying to make people better as we go along throughout life. And to me, that's what life's about. It's not just about living in my little bubble and not getting out and helping other people, because it does take a community to raise a family.
Well, I would imagine that a person in your capacity, and Joel's and others, that you really have to be sincerely compassionate. You really have to care about people, or you couldn't possibly take the heartache and the hardship that it provides.
No, you gotta love the people. And you got to feel some of their emotions that they're going through, and that is one thing that you do.
Absolutely.
You're going to cry with their family, even if you don't know them. You're going to feel that pain, and you're going to cry with them because you do feel bad for them, and because not everybody's gone through this, but eventually we all will.
Absolutely. Now, for information about pre-planning of funerals, just call Hanson Mortuary at 436-5636. And Rex Jones, I want to compliment you. I know you were a little nervous about coming on the radio, but I thought you handled it like an old pro this morning.
I don't know about that.
Well, come back again in the future. We'll have you back on the program again, okay?
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One of our great sponsors on this show, and that's Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward, the manager, and his staff. Really nice man right there. Rex Jones, and I appreciate it. Let's see what else we got to do. Oh, talking about nice people, I got to tell you this. I am very, very proud to have Streamline Precision on our program, and we thank them very much at 120 South, 100 West of Burley. And call Tim today, Tim Vaughn, at 431-7314 for estimates, whether you're looking for perhaps agricultural buildings, grain silos, commercial steel buildings, or you need trenching for pipelines, or you need cement for mangers and feed alleys. These folks are really, really good, making coordinated, accurate, confidential, and consistent timelines to meet their clients' demanding needs. They can get the job done for you in a very professional way. Once again, call for estimates at Tim at 431-7314. Streamline Precision in Burley. We'll be back right after these words from our main studio.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
I need to get right into this right away because this lovely lady has consented to give us at least 10 or 15 minutes of her time this morning, and I know she's extremely busy. An author...
Back on her landline, her cell phone's just about dead, so give me 30 seconds.
Okay, that'll be fine, Gina. Thank you. We're going to be interviewing Joy Brighton, the author of Sharia-ism is Here, and we're going to get her on the air here in just a moment. Quick note that, of course, all the basketball games, state tournaments this weekend, and, of course, many of those games are going to be played right here on KBAR Radio, and one this afternoon with Declo, so don't forget that coming up this afternoon. Let's see if Gina's got her on the landline, and we're ready to go. All set?
She's got her.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very honored to have this lady on the program, at least for a short period of time this morning. She is the author of Sharia-ism is Here, Joy Brighton, and she's been on our show before. Joy, the situation with the Muslims in America. I think we are naive. I think we're misguided. I think we're misinformed. And I think that that's exactly what the Muslims want, because the more they get of kind of an undecided attitude by the American people, the more they're trying to impose Sharia law. I'll let you pick it up from there.
You know, Deb, I have to agree with you. You know, again, we want to be careful about, I'm not saying this is all Muslims, but I am saying that there is a very large radical Muslim contingency in the United States. Let's be clear about this. Everyone is looking at ISIS and saying, oh, it's over there, it's not over here. No, that is not true. ISIS is one head of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is a monster with many heads. ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, including heads that are just running Islamophobia campaigns and other organizations. So ISIS is one head of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood has been deeply embedded in this country for at least 20 years. It's not just that this administration, although this administration has enabled them tremendously. Remember, let's not forget that this administration supported Morsi, the president of Egypt, who was a Muslim Brotherhood president. And one thing that we need to remember here is that 2 or 3 months ago, Dubai and Abu Dhabi banned the Muslim Brotherhood in their country as part of their campaign to defeat ISIS, because they understand that ISIS is part of the Muslim Brotherhood. And when they banned the Muslim Brotherhood, they named 82 Muslim Brotherhood front organizations, including 2 of the largest Muslim civil liberties groups in America. One of them is known as Council of American Islamic Relations. They are the people who claim to be moderate Muslims. It's a very small organization with a very loud social media network. They're the ones that scream Islamophobia. And the other group is the Muslim American Society, which also has a network of a lot of them. So we're in a coalition with the Emirates and with Saudi Arabia, who has also banned the Muslim Brotherhood. And we in this country refuse to ban the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood is ISIS. ISIS is another face of it. So we have a serious problem in this country, and I can talk about where that is, but you have to continue.
Joy, let me ask you this. Is it a naivete? Is it a lack of information? What is it that the American public today, I mean, I'll talk to people about how concerned I am about Sharia law and Islam in our country, and they'll look at me like I fell off a bus someplace. Do you find the same thing with people you talk to, that they're either unaware or very naive?
Yes. And, you know, I blame it on the media, to be honest with you. I think, of course, we have a whole government who's got blindfolds on, which is very, very dangerous, don't get me wrong. But here's the things that the media doesn't talk about. So people say, well, where is Shariaism in this country? Where are people, you know, following Sharia law. Well, and I don't know if we talked about the prison system before. You want me to talk about it again?
If you wouldn't mind, yeah.
15% of the total U.S. inmate population in U.S. prisons has been converting to radical Islam for the past few years. I would, at least, that was reported by Huffington Post, a very liberal media outlet, so that is a fact. That means that 35,000 to 40,000 men, typically men, being released from U.S. prisons every single year have been converted to radical Islam in prison, and what they come out with is they hate America. America has given them no opportunities. There is a righteous path for them to take, to be righteously entitled to hate Americans, to control their wives, to force their daughters into marriage. So these are converts. The convert community in this country is a very, very dangerous one because they're targeted by Muslim Brotherhood groups. And they are a very vulnerable. Here's another group that's being targeted. You have young black men and women and Latinos who don't have jobs. Let's talk about the men, okay, who are angry at America for not having jobs, things like this, and they're luring them into converting to Islam. Are they converting them to radical Islam? These people don't know what they're being converted into. They're just joining a family. They're joining a family that will embrace them, there'll be peace, and slowly but surely they're converted into this place where they hate Americans, they want to control Americans. Let's look at even the women are falling for this. And I'm not talking about women going to fight in ISIS again. These are the people in this country that are ripe to turn on Americans, and they are already turning on Americans. This fellow who beheaded his Oklahoma coworker with a paring knife, okay, converted to radical Islam in U.S. prisons. The fellow who took a hatchet to a New York police officer's head converted to radical Islam in U.S. prisons. There's another fellow who converted to radical Islam in U.S. prison, killed his pregnant wife, their 2 children, and their mother for not converting to Islam. These stories go on and on. They're not being reported. What you're hearing is one lone wolf after the other. The majority of these lone wolves have converted to radical Islam in our prison system. Getting back to the Muslim Brotherhood is because our government, believe it or not, this sounds so crazy, contracts with the Muslim Brotherhood Front Group to select and vet and place Muslim chaplains into our prisons, because who better knows what a good chaplain is than another Muslim.
Oh, my goodness.
And so this is what's happening.
Joy, real quick, I know you got to run, but I want to ask you this question, and women in general. Why are women duped into thinking this is such a great thing to belong to when actually the women are treated as second-class citizens and literally slaves?
I don't know why this is, but I will say this, okay? And I don't know if you know this, but, I am a liberal in some ways. I believe in choice, and I believe in gay marriage, and I know that your audience may not agree with me. However, I do think that your audience, all of us listeners, believe that we should all have choices. And what I say to these pro-choice women that are just focused on pro-choice as being the only issue in the world is women, okay, under Sharia have no choice. They don't have a choice to reproduce. They don't have a choice of who to marry. They don't have a choice of whether or not to become a sex slave. They don't have a choice of whether or not to marry their children, at a young age into slavery. They don't have a choice for anything. I think that we have got, I don't know the answer. I am trying very, very hard to reach into women's groups and explain that the biggest problem with women's rights is not equality of pay. Yeah, that's somewhere down the line there, but we have an issue right now with the treatment of women, and it's happening here in this country. This is what you don't understand, and it's not just Muslim girls. Remember Kathleen Russell?
Yes.
Okay, she fell in love with the Boston bomber guy. Lovely girl, 20 years old, falls in love with a very Western-looking, remember, these guys are not walking around with black hoods on. Very Western guy. A year later, she's pregnant. She's covering herself. She's praying, and she must have known, okay, what he was up to. She is slowly pulled into this. The police were called several times because he was beating her. She refused to press charges. So this is what's happening to our own American girls. This is how we have to start thinking about it. We have American girls who are being lured into this.
One final thought here, Joy, and then I'll let you go. I know you have to run. But in the game plan of radical Islam, has the United States allowed this to go too far? Is there a point of no return?
I don't want to say that there's a point of no return. I hope that is not the case. I think that, I think that banning the Muslim Brotherhood, or at least everyone in this audience, needs to start talking about this. This needs, and by the way, I have time, but we have a government who's not going to deal with this. We have to deal with this. All of us little people have to deal with this. We have to start talking about the fact that there are Muslim Brotherhood groups in this country that are trying to destroy us, just like they're doing elsewhere. And that we have locally, we've got to Google up who they are in your local community and make sure that your local YMCAs, your local church groups, local synagogues, police stations understand who these groups are and what their agenda is. And is it politically incorrect? Yes, it is. But is it reality? Yes, it is.
How do we overcome the fact, Joy, that this Obama administration, and I'm going to be very blunt because I don't like the Obama administration nor their ideology, but how are we going to overcome an administration that looks at us that don't like what's happening with Sharia and Sharia law coming into this country as we're bigoted and mean-spirited? How do we overcome this?
I think we overcome this by literally I don't want to say taking the law into our own hands, but I do think that we have got to make these changes ourselves. One of the things it's doing at the state levels is that states are starting to pass these, they're being called anti-Sharia, which is not what it is. These are laws that say that yes, they protect against Sharia law when they're being imposed in a way that that conflicts with a U.S. Constitution. So the states are starting to say, we're concerned about Sharia law. We're going to pass a law that doesn't ban Sharia law or anything else. If you are an American and you contract with a Saudi and you're making widgets in Saudi Arabia, that's a legal business contract. Okay, but if you are an American and you're fighting with your Saudi husband and he wants to take custody of your children because, according to Sharia law, after 7 years old, he has custody. Okay, now you should be protected under the U.S. Constitution, where you're entitled to due process and investigation into which parent is more capable. Otherwise, under Sharia law, that child automatically goes to the father and gets whisked away to Saudi Arabia. So the states are taking control. We know this, and listen, there are countries that are also starting to take control of this. Norway, which is really, I would say, probably in a worse situation than we are in terms of the amount of radicalization going on in that country. Their prime minister is starting actually to deport radical Muslims. They deported 824 Muslims last year. What they're saying is, if you are attending a radical mosque, and we know where they are, and if you are threatening infidels in any way, you will be deported. They're deporting them, and they're deporting their families. And the reason is because this has got to be painful. It's got to be painful for them. So countries are starting to become aware. There is a Muslim mayor of Rotterdam, again in Norway, who has said, if you want, as a Muslim he can say this, if you want to live under a different law, you must leave now. So there are countries that we're starting to see do this. So there is basis for us to be talking to our local institutions and saying, this is how they're handling it. We can't handle it just that way yet, but what we can do is start making people aware of just how dangerous the situation is, and it's in this country.
All right, I've got time for one question, and make it quick, sure. Caller, real fast. Go ahead.
Yes, in line with what she just said about Norway and the crime rate, how much it dropped after they deported those 800, and I'll hang up.
Would you elaborate on that a little bit, please, Joy?
Yes, that was pretty incredible. Now, I read the same article that you read, so I'm assuming that it's true. But there was a report that said that the crime rate in Norway has dropped 31% since the deportation program of radical Muslims. And so that's another way that they're justifying, deporting these guys, is that it's crime. Listen, what's happening in France is, in France you've got pockets of Muslim communities that maybe they don't want to live under Sharia law, but they've got these very fierce leaders who are kind of forcing it on them. And these areas, these communities have devolved into gangs, and it's all about, drug running and things like this. There's tremendous amount of crime in these pockets. So, yes, there is a correlation there, and that's one of the reasons that Norway is justifying this deportation of radical Muslims. I don't know that we have a connection like that in this country, that the crime rate is affiliated. Well, I suppose you could say that if everyone's converting to radical Islam in U.S. prisons, those converts, right, are part of a group of people that tend to commit crime.
Joy, I've got one final question for you this morning, and it involves our refugee status programs coming in from the Middle East into this United States. And we have many of those Muslim refugees coming right here to southern Idaho. How much, honestly, do we know about these people? Because I've read many, many stories in the last 2 months that many of the Muslim radicals have infiltrated the refugee program and are coming over here basically to start some terror cells. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, I don't know. I don't have facts to base this up, but I can tell you that it's the fact that we are allowing Syrian immigrants into this country is so incredibly dangerous. We can't even prevent people from traveling here to Syria to go to ISIS. If we think that we've got some kind of control over what's going on, we absolutely do not. And I hope that the states, and some of the states are really putting up a big fight about this and saying, no, we do not want these people. Yes, we are a country of immigrants, but we have to understand the reality and the danger of this situation. And, this is unbelievable. I mean, remember, they may not be radicals when they arrive here, but they're being radicalized once they get here. This is the problem. 80% of the mosques in this country are funded by Saudi Arabia, and in many ways, they're Wahhabi, they're radical Islam, fundamental philosophy is being taught. Okay, this is a fact. We know that radicalization is not just happening over the internet. It's happening in the mosques. It's happening in Islamic centers. It's happening in prisons. It's happening in inner cities by people reaching out. It's not just social media. People don't, there are people talking to other people. These are boots on the ground that are radicalizing Americans. And Syrian immigrants and others who come here who don't know the language, who don't know the laws, who don't know anything, who are they going to, they're in a position where they're going to respond to anyone who reaches out to them and says, let us help you acclimate. Come to the mosque. Let us help you acclimate. Let us tell you what America's about. Let us help you enforce your rights here. I mean, it's I don't know. We have a president that is frightening. Mm-hmm. Is frightening, and this is why we need to take this into our own hands at the local levels. I mean, if it means us going into the streets and protesting, I don't know what it's going to take, but we cannot allow our government to keep doing this. We've got to take it into our own hands at the local level and try to educate as many people as we want and stop this at the local level. Local towns have to be up in arms that they do not want to take these people in.
All right. Joy Brighton, the author of Sharia-ism, is here.
Pretty clear, huh?
Absolutely. By the way, quickly, tell everybody in my audience your book, Sharia-ism, is here. Where can they obtain a copy of your book?
Okay. The book is on Amazon.com. It's called Sharia-ism is Here, The Battle to Control Women and Everyone Else. This is a book for people who only have 5 minutes to read it with a cup of coffee. That's me. It's colorful, it's quotes, it's American news stories that show exactly where Sharia-ism is coming in and exactly how our government is ignoring it. There's about 60 different American news stories in there. So read it. You know what? Just go and read the reviews.
All right. God bless you, Joy Brighton. I appreciate it, and thank you for taking the time this morning. I wish you the best, and I'll have you back on the program in the future. Thank you so much again.
Love to come anytime, Zeb, and I really thank your listeners so much for listening to this and hopefully, taking some action.
All right.
Everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Nice lady, and an excellent book, and it's all about Sharia-ism in this country. Sharia-ism is here. Author Joy Brighton. Thank you. Oh, my goodness, we got to get the weather forecast in. And the weather this hour is brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. They sell taste one bite at a time. Don't forget, they've got that great big tax return meat package for only $300. You get beef, you get pork, you get chicken, you get cheese. It's delicious. Everything is from Scarro's Meats. Here now, Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers, presented the ranch at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. NASCAR is in town. 43 drivers, all doing the same thing. They drive fast. They turn left. There will be 42 losers and one winner when it's over said and done. How's the weather down here? Pretty nice. How's the weather where you're at? Pretty nice. You're going to start to hit a warning trend now. In fact, the warning trend starts today, and you're going to go all the way into next week. So, that being said, if you're making plans on coming down to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway to see NASCAR, you're going to have a nice drive, especially if you take U.S. Highway 93. But other than that, I will be at the track. If you see me, go, hey, take a picture, and I'll be more than happy to do that at no charge. How about that? 51 for the high today. 20, make that 31 for the overnight low. Enjoy the day, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael Rogers. Weather, and brought to you this hour by Scarro's Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome. They sell taste one bite at a time. Check out that great $300 tax return meat package with beef, pork, chicken, cheese. It's phenomenal, and it's great. You're going to love it at Scarro's Meats. Oh, my. We've got to quickly also tell you that we say thank you very much to our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers because they're having their great big spring tire sale right now, and all their tires are on sale, like the Open Country AT2, outstanding traction for your pickups and SUVs, long-lasting tread, and they've got the Eclipse passenger car tire, all-season traction, advanced design tread for the passenger cars on sale, with the best tire value promise in the industry, and always convenient credit for tires and services. You're going to love getting everything you need, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, and the best in brake service right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Who do you see? Well, you go to Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best. Oh, my. Next Monday, of course, on the program, we've got a full slate. We've got Frosty Woodward's coming on, the Alliance Defending Freedom, some of their attorneys. We've got Cade Rogge coming on. We've got our legislative update. All kinds of goodies right here on Zeb at the Ranch. I want to remind everybody that basketball tournaments start this afternoon right here on KBAR, and we will be back next Monday right here on Zeb at the Ranch at 8:06. We'll sign on KBAR 1230 and then streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And remember one thing, is we have a kind of a tumultuous world right now. The way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless you and your family. We'll see you Monday.